Welcome. I'm Batista, founder of AI Thinking Systems. Over the last few years, we've seen organizations rush to adopt AI. New tools, new models, new workflows, new automation initiatives. Yet one question continues to stand out. Why do some organizations create meaningful advantage from AI while others simply become more efficient? That's what this executive briefing is about. Over the next few minutes, I'll introduce a strategic framework for understanding how organizations move from AI adoption to sustainable competitive advantage. And perhaps more importantly, where many organizations unknowingly get stuck. Let's start with a question. What happens when everyone has access to the same AI? Most organizations are focused on selecting tools, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot. But technology advantages rarely last. If your competitors can access the same models tomorrow, where does your advantage come from? This is becoming one of the most important strategic questions leaders need to answer, because AI itself is rapidly becoming a commodity, which means the advantage must come from somewhere else. And that's where this conversation begins. Every major technology follows a similar pattern. Initially, access creates advantage. Then adoption spreads. Eventually, access becomes universal. AI is no different. In the early days, simply using AI created differentiation. Then prompts became the focus. Then workflows. Today, we're entering a new phase. A phase where nearly everyone has access to powerful models. The organizations that win won't be those with access to AI. They'll be the organizations that build something on top of AI that others cannot easily replicate. The advantage is moving beyond the model. To help explain this shift, I'd like to introduce the AI competitive advantage journey. This framework describes 5 stages of AI maturity. Stage 1, curiosity. Stage 2, productivity. Stage 3, alignment. Stage 4, organizational influence, and Stage 5, competitive advantage. Every organization sits somewhere on this journey. The challenge is that many organizations believe they are further on than they actually are. And that's often where strategic blind spots begin to emerge. The first 2 stages are where most organizations currently operate. Curiosity is experimentation. People are exploring tools and testing possibilities. Productivity is where organizations start seeing measurable gains. Faster outputs, improved efficiency, reduced manual effort. And these gains are valuable. But here's the challenge. Efficiency alone is not competitive advantage. If everyone improves efficiency, nobody gains differentiation. They simply establish a new baseline. This creates what I call the productivity plateau. Initially, AI delivers significant value. Organizations save time, reduce costs, and increase output. But over time, competitors adopt the same capabilities. The differentiation begins to disappear. What once created advantage becomes expected. What once felt innovative becomes standard. This is why many AI initiatives eventually struggle to demonstrate strategic impact. They improve performance without creating defensibility. And that's where the next stage becomes critical. Most AI initiatives focus on models, but models are only part of the equation. AI can provide information, suggestions, content, analysis. What AI cannot provide is your expertise, your judgment, your decision-making patterns, your organizational knowledge. That missing layer is intelligence. And intelligence is where sustainable advantage begins to emerge. Think of AI as infrastructure. The intelligence layer determines what gets built on top of it. Alignment is where organizations begin moving beyond generic AI. At this stage, the goal is no longer simply using AI. The goal is teaching AI how the organization thinks, how decisions are made, how problems are solved, how value is created. This is where personal language models, or PLMs, become important. A PLM captures expertise, thinking patterns, and judgment. The result is AI that becomes increasingly aligned with the individual or organization it supports. The next evolution is organizational intelligence. Most expertise exists inside people. The challenge is that expertise often remains trapped there. When knowledge isn't captured, organizations experience intelligence leakage. Valuable insights are lost. Best practices remain hidden. Lessons are repeatedly relearned. Organizational language models, or OLMs, address this challenge. They transform expertise from something people know into something the organization owns. The knowledge stops being an activity. It becomes an asset. This brings us to the final stage, competitive advantage. At this stage, organizations no longer focused primarily on tools. They focused on intelligence assets, decision systems, knowledge infrastructure, captured expertise. The key distinction is simple. Competitors can copy tools. Competitors can copy prompts. Competitors can even copy workflows. What they struggle to copy is years of accumulated intelligence. And that's where sustainable advantage begins. So here's the question. Where are you on this journey? Are you experimenting, improving productivity, capturing expertise, building organizational intelligence, or creating intelligence assets? One of the biggest risks organizations face is assuming AI maturity simply because AI adoption is increasing. The two are not the same thing. Adoption measures usage. Maturity measures capability. If there's one idea I'd like you to take away from this executive briefing, it's this. Most organizations are adopting AI. Very few are building competitive advantage with it. The opportunity is not simply to use AI. The opportunity is to build intelligence assets that become more valuable over time. To help organizations understand where they are in this journey, I've made available the AI Competitive Advantage Assessment. The assessment helps identify your current maturity level, potential intelligence leakage, strategic risks, and competitive advantage opportunities. Once completed, you can apply for a complimentary AI Competitive Advantage Diagnostic Review. I'll personally review the results and help identify the next strategy for your organization. Apply using the email address you'll find in the directions either above or below this video. Your report will be delivered within 24 to 48 hours. Thank you for joining me for this executive briefing. I look forward to helping you discover where your greatest AI competitive advantage may lie.